Center for Lifelong Learning. Welcome, Mr. Reguraj. We are proud to very soon inaugurate a vision that you had articulated to us a year ago. When we sat talking, we used to discuss about learning being such an important aspect of an individual's growth. And not just growth, but also the fulfillment of life and what it would lead to in terms of feeling complete. Today I want to ask you for everyone to know and to take that vision out of a boardroom into the world and talk about what you felt when you thought about this.
Primarily, I thought that it should create a cultural change with all of us, and we feel that I have completed this study, I have completed that study, I have moved away. So I wanted to think differently, that everybody should have this continuous learning as a process of life, and that was my feel that I shared with you, and I'm very happy that it is taking shape. I love the building, the way the building has come as well. So everything falls in place when the intentions are good. And you can say the NTTF itself is a process of a growth of a good intention 50, 60 years ago.
I want a place, when we conceptualize this, you said, I want a place where people can feel that they can come and learn just about anything without any pressure of performance, without any pressure of being measured.
As I say, that we will not put some kind of a guidelines for them and set a path for them in this center. Each one should pursue their own goals, their own ambitions, and we would be a facilitator in this place to make them achieve whatever are their ambitions. And that's what the center, I feel, should do. I think whatever seed that you are doing in NTTF, our intentions are strong enough to make that grow, this kind of learning, into many, many institutions, many, many walks of life, and everywhere there should be a learning, a center of learning.
So that's what you articulated to us, that we want thousands of Center for Lifelong Learning, whether it's with our clients or whether it is with our students or at our other NTTF centers. That lifelong learning...
It can cross the borders of India.
Absolutely. Right?
Why it should be a client and a student? I think the whole world should move into an era of learning and learning and learning, and there should be some kind of a pressure in you. I want to learn, I want to learn. So facilitate and make them grow on their own. Don't push, make them grow, give them the time and space, and create an ambient where they get interested and they have a personal reward. Not that somebody is looking for a reward from external sources. Internally they feel happy. And if we do that, I think that's the best place for the world to be. So, the whole concept of training is directed towards a particular skills. And I was not happy with that concept itself, that it should not end in some way of reaching some levels in skills. The mind must become young again to accept anything new that is around. So there will be a growth of learning every day. And I want to create a space where there is no exam, there is no tutor in standing in front and teaching, that you learn all for yourself, for your lifelong ambition that drives you. And that is what I expect this center to do.
So let's talk about karma and how it links itself to a karmachari, which is an employee.
In simple terms, we can say you reap what you sow. But this period could extend beyond one's life. So when it extends beyond one's life, we use this word karma. And a karmachari is somebody who just is obligated to do whatever the karma demands. Some people in Switzerland trusted me when I was very young and handed over this institute at my hands. And so I thought absolutely committed to their belief in me and ensure that NTTF grows. And many people asked me, you're young, that, this, etc. I said, I'll make NTTF grow, and in NTTF growth, I'll find my growth. In NTTF, I still go back to the people who started this. They had such a strong feel, such a strong good spirit behind. And so whatever the intent, when the intent is so strong and committed and good and powerful, I think there cannot be anything else but growth in the right spheres.
What, according to you, are the three most significant qualities of a good employee?
I would move away from this word employee quite often that's being used. We would come that to an individual. And I strongly feel, and I would use this word, 3 C's. And these 3 C's for me are conviction, commitment, and courage. So if these 3's are there in an individual, you really can't convince somebody. The conviction should come internally, that you are convinced of whatever that you are said to do. And then comes your commitment, that you stay by your conviction no matter what, and stand by your conviction in your commitment. And even if you cross these 2, you have hurdles. And these hurdles, you have to stand and show that you're very courageous. Your courage to stand by your commitment and your conviction. Every individual must go through these 3 C's, and I think the world will be a different place.
So when people talk a lot about work-life balance, I personally don't understand it, because I feel life of any human being without work, and whether it's at a personal sphere or in profession, are not different. And why should it give you different types of highs?
This is today you have a professional life and family life. Somehow they have made some kind of a distinction. This distinction, in my opinion, does not exist.
I agree with you.
Right? You can't be a good manager and a bad father. You can't be a bad father and a good manager. Both are not possible. I think it's so intertwined and gives your character an expression. And that's where it should be. There are many successful stories of even ladies who have done exceedingly well in their professional life and maintain their family life intact.
What is the underlying reason why that is possible? How does one align work, professional life with personal?
In my opinion, both are way of living.
Correct.
Both are a way of living. There's no difference between I'll be so in my professional life, I'll be so in my private life. Both are blended together, and there is no difference. You are either good in both or you fail in both.
Right. And so, in a sense, you are saying that the alignment is to life itself and not necessarily to...
Exactly. There is no different distinct entities in one's life. This is my professional life, this is my private life. This is the way you express your living. You live for something. Everybody does work. Everybody looks after the family. So there's no difference. Learning is a process of life, and not just do that for sake of that.
Degrees and jobs and,
Yes, it
and
is.
certificates and
Yes,
all of
here they should only acquire knowledge for their pleasure.
And that's so beautifully put, because in India, especially with our education system being what it is, there is so much rigidity around the word learning. And people are averse to it because they were always forced to it. And somehow we have to remove this word force from the learning and introduce another kind of force, which is an internal force. It's an internal desire that you have to propel.
I think everybody has it.
Exactly.
I feel every human being has it, and they are conditioned by the environment that you do this, do this, do this, do this, and if you do this, then it'll be like this. The results. In this process, they forget the pleasure of learning.
In a changed world scenario where work today is not work, the job of one job is not your job for life, how do you see NTTF and staff growing through this process and actually converting their one single job with one single skill into a multidisciplinary work role?
In NTTF, all along, and in every institution, you have a structured skilling program, and they were all coming up from A to B, B to C, and C to D, elevating themselves. But a time has come where they can't grow in one vertical, and they have to have multiple verticals. And it is our job not to just give him one vertical and make him come up, open up the space for him to see more verticals, that he becomes a wholesome guy to facilitate learning.
And that is going to be also the world of tomorrow's NTTF student, that he's also going to have to respond to a multidisciplinary challenge where he also will not have a job for life, and he has to have that preparedness also.
I go through a lot of discussion on employment and employability at the moment, and you had this earlier a job for life with one company, and that may disappear shortly, and because the employers themselves may be under threat, and so everybody would be wanting to move into unknown areas, and learning becomes a continuous part of their process, even to stay agile and fit.
Absolutely.
Right, so this is what we should do in NTTF. I am also convinced at the moment NTTF should not be training people to get employed. I think a time has come where NTTF curriculum, ambience and environment should move him to become an employer. And I think if that happens, if NTTF produces X amount of students and 70% become entrepreneurs, I would say the guys who started this from Switzerland, they will be at so much of peace and happy.
So your journey as a leader, what brought you here?
Again, this word leader, I must spend some time. In every stage of life, in every profession, right from the lower run of an organization to the CEO of the organization, they have two roles to play all the time. One role will be a managerial role, one role will be a leadership role. From the same chair, I have to do both managerial and leadership role. The longer you spend your time in a leadership role, the better for the organization and the better for you. Otherwise, you become a complaint manager doing something else as a manager. So the leader's role is there in every job.
So So you would say that leadership, one of the qualities required to have leadership in your role, so you're talking about role leadership, is to say, I want to do not just the way things are, I want to do innovative things, I want to do things differently, I want to take risks, I want to have the courage and the boldness, I want to empower myself and those around me to be able to take those chances with new ideas rather than getting stuck
yes,
in.
I go back to the earlier answer I gave 3 C's.
Right.
And the leader should have these 3 C's in him all the time, and he should move into new avenues, take enough risks, otherwise he becomes a manager.
Correct.
A leader cannot just contain himself in a managerial role. He has to shift out, and the more the time, he has to also spend some time in managerial role in every office. But the time that he allots for himself, for managerial role and the leadership role, that defines him as a good leader.
In your leadership, what you are basically articulating to others is nurture your people, right? Nurture and grow your people, form them into what they are capable of becoming, rather than, and when you're using the word facilitate, it's about this formation, bring the best out in them that is quite naturally their own, right? And then we don't have to work hard, whether it's a student to a faculty member, or whether it's a faculty member to another peer, or it's a boss to a.
So it is in your approach. Yeah. It is certainly in your approach how you look at others. If you think that you're going to teach them something, they will learn from you, then you're putting them under pressure. Allow them to be on their own. I feel like this. In a family, you have, let's say, nowadays the number of children are less, but nowadays the families, large families. So even if you take 5 children, all the 5 children are not going to be the same. And you will not make a difference between the 5 children. So in NTTF, I feel once they come into NTTF, they are a part of our family. And it is up to us to make the best come out from them. We don't say this is the best.
We all somehow, with the given 24 hours, fit activities in our life. How does one then find time in, say, a 8-hour workday to deploy this continuous learning and plug that additional thing into it? Because it seems to most people that, oh God, one more thing I have to do. How will we separate this task orientation towards learning and make it more an inner quest?
First thing, it is in the mind.
Exactly.
Right? If you say 8-hour job, it's in the mind. If you say it's a 12-hour job, it is in the mind. If you take a 2-hour job, it's in the mind. So the mind plays all that what you want. And if you have an interest to grow yourself, you will find the time for whatever you are doing.
Precisely.
This is another word that we have coined recently, which is hobby.
Yes.
So this word also somewhere I am not in tune with that.
Right.
Right.
So what would be your word for it?
Interest.
Interest.
If you are interested, you will learn anything at any point of time, and you will produce whatever that satisfies you.
Correct.
So hobby is a word which is used to distinctly differentiate what you do for your regular
life.
Profession,
yes,
and hobby. And I will mix both.
Excellent. And that's probably what sets you apart.
I will mix. I wouldn't call anything as my hobby. I now interested in this.
And you integrate it into your whole personality and your whole life.
Yes.
And obviously you learn skills while learning a different subject, a different instrument. There are skills that you can deploy.
It opens up. Right. It opens up. You don't confine that into an environment or something.
Or a situation.
As a hobby. And it should be part of you. And you can expand that part of you into different things at different times. Age has got no relationship with this.
correct. Absolutely. That is a definite. Age has nothing to do with learning.
Yes.
And that is one barrier we need to break, that we carry around with. So instead of learning being pushed at you, you pull learning towards yourself.
This has happened quite some time, the pushing and pull, the difference of the results.
Exactly.
So the pushing has a limited results,
Effect.
And the pull has a permanent role. I mean, I think, so each one should do something in their life which they please. In the process, they keep learning.
So goal setting, right? That's one of the important thing that sets apart achievers from the ones that somehow just float through life. Where is the place for goal setting?
If you have ever called the so-called guys who have floated and have a chat with them, you will also notice that they have some ambition in life, some goal in life. It is not articulated, it is not expressed, it is not noticed. I feel in God's creation, everyone has some goal. Right? They are not part, just come in and go out. They seem to have come in and gone out, but if you really talk to them, notice them, every human being has a goal.
So in a sense, what you're saying is that sometimes, especially in conformist cultures, people's innate desires to excel or abilities and talents go unnoticed, and that makes them lose all interest in what they're doing.
Somebody is articulating it well, somebody don't articulate it well. Those who articulate it well get noticed. Those don't articulate, they don't get noticed. But everybody has an ambition. Everybody has some desire. They just don't fall in. They might look like a flock of sheep going through, and even a sheep has an ambition, in my opinion. And then he looks for some better grass.
And we're looking now at NTTF venturing into this new age technologies, IoT, artificial intelligence, all of this. Where do you see lifelong learning fitting into that?
Exactly. What you're doing is exactly whatever the lifelong learning, because we have to understand the rate of change of technology in the recent years is so fast that it surpasses the societal approach. So everybody is thinking, what will be the tomorrow? This will disappear, that will come in. We are in that stage. So we facilitate, we don't really say where it would take us to. That should be an unknown area of tomorrow.
And unknown has its own pleasures, right?
Absolutely.
Venturing, it's an adventure.
Yes.
And life was meant to be an adventure.
Exactly. As long as you enjoy today and see the tomorrow as something new, then it's the best.
A father has one more role, to discipline them when the things don't go right, in the sense of not being, to put them right, to set them back on the track. Discipline does have a role in life, or it doesn't?
Absolutely. There is nothing like these. Freedom and discipline are very strong. This is a very thin divide. So you can't say, I have freedom, I can do what I want, and I will be disciplined, I don't do anything else. So this line is a thin line where you create them the feel of comfort. That's important. And I'm happy I have found Parimal and you.
Thank you.
and this has been a great association for me, a joyful, fulfilling association to have Gandhi and you in this.
Thank you so much, and both, I can speak for Parimal and myself, that we both feel not just honored, but we feel very, very energized because we have someone like you backing this. You have invested not just the resources of NTTF, but also substantial amount of your personal time, and also given us a lot of freedom to play with the idea, and we are all poised to make this a grand success.
Yes, thank you so much for
Deliver.
having accepted this challenge
Yes.
in life, not for yourself, but the whole community.
Yes, to serve the community
Yes,
at large.
and
Definitely.
God bless you all.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you. God bless you as much, and
Thank you.
NTTF.
Thank you.
And the Center for Lifelong Learning. Thank you very much.
All the best. God bless again.
Thank you.